Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be talking about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Time. But before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon to be notified when I post new videos, and also hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. Recently I've been looking at the new trailers that have been released for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Time. Really, it's just one trailer. But I'm hoping to see more come out of it. I don't want them to release too much information about it, but from what I've seen, it looks like it's definitely going to have an interesting tale, but I am concerned with the news I've been hearing about the replacement of Indiana Jones, the possibility that he may be replaced by an actress. Personally, I don't like the whole bait and switch of replacing a male lead with a female lead. Ugh. Stutter and complete slurred that word. Anyway, whenever I see news about those things, I have to take it with a grain of salt, but it has been happening more often than not, and I am concerned about it. So, looking at this, when I've been researching whatever I could find about this movie, it's clear that the story is going to be revolving around the Cold War, but also a little bit around space travel and space and time travel. And you know, Indiana Jones has always had that whimsical or sci-fi basis for its storyline. You have the Ark of the Covenant, you have the Temple of Doom with all the, the Kali Ma and all that stuff. Like, you have all the magical and mystical and spiritual aspects of the movies, starting with part 1 and 2. The Raiders of the Lost Ark, the Last Crusade. Personally, growing up, my favorite was the Last Crusade. There was something about it that just, it was the one that I watched with my grandfather the most. It's the one that we connected over the most and bonded over. When you have Sean Connery and all that, and now that he's gone, it's definitely going to be a bum rap to see this movie without characters portrayed by these actors. And with Harrison Ford getting further along in his age, it's going to be sad to see him go one day. And so I want to see, when I see this movie, I'm hoping that they honor his legacy, that they do not kill him off. Personally, I feel that if he retired, that's fine. I don't mind that. If they want to introduce a new character, sure, do a spin-off series. Just don't call it Indiana Jones. You can call it Jones, or Dr. Jones, and revolve it around the name. Like, make it to where she's the actual, like a daughter of his or something. Don't just make it a goddaughter. But if they're going to make a character, give the show a name revolving around that character. Don't make her a Jones. Make her original, but still tied. Like, you can have a character tied to the original material. If you want to create something new, that's fine. Just don't try to piggyback off the name of the original and not honor it. And definitely don't disgrace the title of Indiana Jones by killing off the lead and replacing him. I'm hoping they don't do this. Personally, I feel that the movie, it's kind of odd that they would come out with it, but it is interesting to see that they are doing a sort of deep fake CGI version of Harrison Ford in the role. To see, I guess they're just trying to show flashbacks, or they could be showing actual time travel based on what I've seen. It could be, since with the name the Dial of Time, it's definitely tied to time travel. And personally, I'm not a big fan of stories that involve time travel, but you can't control what they're going to do with these movies. And personally, I think it could still be entertaining to watch, as long as, like I said, they don't try to kill off the lead role, and they don't try to do a bait and switch. It could be very successful. And I don't usually have strong opinions about these things. I'm just a fan of movies and shows in general. And well, personally, I'm hoping that they honor the legacy of the original movies. The first 3 movies are the best. The 4th one, it receives a lot of hate for it. Personally, I don't think it's that bad. Every now and then I'll watch it if I feel like watching something, but it definitely is not as good as the original 3. The issue that I have with the 4th one is the same issue that most people have with the 4th one, the Crystal Skull. It had too much focus on aliens. The fact that they actually showed the aliens in the end was kind of odd. It's like it didn't make sense for them to do it. I feel like they should have captured the elements of the original movies where you don't actually get to see much. You get to see, like with the Ark of the Covenant, it was just a force of nature. It was God himself in the presence of the Ark of the Covenant as it is in the Bible, so his energy destroys these people who are wicked. You cannot stand in the presence of God. And they captured it effectively. And then you have the Temple of Doom, where you have the characters, using sorcery, witchcraft, and most of it's just kind of, it's not really strong or powerful, mystical, and really in any sense. It's really just, I can't use that. Forget it. It's too late. Anyway, when it comes to those things in the movies, they captured it in a way that was whimsical. It did not fully go. It didn't go full, all in on the sci-fi fantasy nature of it. They went partially, and they dove in partially, but they kept it historical. There was an element of history to it, and I feel like they need to continue with that path. If they delve too far in the wrong direction, they could lose the heart and the general story of, or I don't know, just the feel of these movies. They're supposed to be mostly action-packed, historical, archaeology-based movies, and I feel like if they delve too far in the wrong direction, they could kill it. And if they go all in with the whole female empowerment and trying to replace Indiana Jones, if they try to replace him, that's going to kill it. That honestly will kill it for me. There are very few male role model characters nowadays, and people can say all the time, they can say all they want, how men have always had male role models. No, they haven't. I mean, growing up, at one point I almost pursued a career in archaeology, or whether it was archaeology or paleontology. Mostly I prefer archaeology, or just generally the study of history. I thought about pursuing that. I grew up loving history. It was my favorite subject in school. I was better at history than I was at English literature, or just generally language arts, or any form of, schoolwork. Mathematics, I sucked at mathematics. Well, somewhat. I was okay with some of it, but anyway, when it comes to these subjects and all that, when it comes to the subject of history, it inspired people. It inspires a lot of men to become, it inspires them in the direction of their career, or their livelihood generally. So whenever I see these movies, I feel like they need to honor the legacy of this. They cannot push aside years of movies and try to, I guess, poach them, essentially. You can't take away the years and the legacy of this entire franchise by throwing in a female character and saying, hey, look, she's the new Indiana Jones. That would just kill it. I mean, that would ruin the whole thing. I don't think anybody would be okay with it. Well, that's all I'm going to talk about. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and ring that bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. Also hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Oh, and share with your friends. Goodbye, and I'll see you soon.